His bride ran, leaving him standing alone in front of the most powerful families in the world. So I stepped forward and took her place. I thought I was saving him. I didn't realize I had just made myself his. This is our story. Let's begin.
The bride doesn't come. I know it before the priest falters, before the music stutters into something broken and uncertain, before the doors at the back of the cathedral stay closed just a second too long. I feel it, a shift, subtle but sharp enough to cut. I stand at the altar, hands clasped loosely in front of me, posture perfect, expression carved into something colder than anything I actually feel. I don't move. I don't turn. I don't look back. Because if she were coming, she'd already be here. The cathedral is full, too full. Men who own cities sit in polished rows, their presence thick with power and expectation. Women glitter beside them, diamonds catching candlelight, eyes sharp and watching everything. Everyone here matters. Everyone here is watching me. A whisper moves through the room, low at first, then louder. A quiet laugh slips from somewhere in the back. I hear it, register it, lock it away. Humiliation isn't loud, it doesn't explode. It settles, cold, permanent, and I don't allow anything permanent that I didn't choose. The priest clears his throat. Perhaps there has been a... There hasn't. I inhale slowly, controlled. Then I step down from the altar, not rushed, not reactive, a decision. The room stills, breath held, waiting to see what I do next, because this moment, this exact moment, decides whether I walk out of here as a man who was abandoned or a man who adapted, and I don't lose. Not like this. Not in front of them. If no one else will stand beside you, I will. The voice cuts through the cathedral like a blade, soft, clear, unmistakable. Everything stops. The whispers die instantly. Even the air shifts. I turn, slow, deliberate, because whoever just spoke just stepped into something they don't understand, and that makes her either reckless or dangerous. My gaze finds her immediately, halfway down the aisle, not dressed like the bride who was supposed to be here. No diamonds, no display, just a simple white dress that doesn't belong in this room. Wrong. Everything about her is wrong, except her eyes. They lock onto mine, and they don't drop. There's fear there. But not enough. That's what catches my attention. That and the faint stain of red spreading along her sleeve. Blood. Interesting. The room waits. So do I. Do you understand what you're offering? I ask. My voice carries easily. Calm. Controlled. A quiet threat wrapped in silk. She swallows. I see it. The way her throat moves. The way her shoulders tighten just slightly. But she doesn't look away. I do. Her voice shakes. Barely. But she doesn't take it back. I study her. Every detail. The tension in her stance. The way her hands curl slightly at her sides. The way she's holding herself together like it's the only thing keeping her upright. This isn't a performance. She's not playing a game. She's making a choice. A dangerous one. I walk toward her. The sound of my shoes against marble echoes too loudly in the silence. Every eye follows me. I don't care. I only look at her. I stop in front of her. Close enough now to see the truth of it. The blood is real. Fresh. Her breathing is uneven. Fast. But she doesn't step back. Doesn't run. Good, say it again, I murmur. Her chin lifts slightly, just enough. If no one else will stand beside you, I will. There it is again. That edge. Not desperation. Not submission. Something else. Resolve. My decision is immediate. Clean. I take her hand. She flinches. Barely. But she doesn't pull away. Her fingers are warm, shaking, alive. I turn. Guide her back toward the altar. The whispers return, but softer now. Confused. Uncertain. Good. Let them be uncertain. Uncertainty is control. We step back into place. The priest looks like he's forgotten how to speak. I don't give him time to recover. Continue. He obeys. The ceremony resumes. Rushed, unsteady, but it moves. I don't hear most of it. My attention splits, half on the ritual, half on her. Her arm brushes mine. Her breathing hasn't steadied. I can feel it. Every small movement, every shift. She's terrified, and still, she stays. When the vows come, I repeat them without hesitation. The words don't matter. The act does. When it's her turn, she pauses, just for a fraction of a second. Then I do. Stronger this time. Clearer. Interesting. The rings are brought forward. I slide the band onto her finger. It fits. She slides mine onto my hand. Her fingers are steadier now. That surprises me. By the time the priest declares us husband and wife, the room is silent again, waiting, watching, judging. I turn to her. For a second, just a second, something passes between us. Recognition. Two people standing in something neither of us planned, refusing to lose. I lift my hand. My fingers brush along her jaw. Light. Testing. She doesn't pull away. So I lean in. The kiss is controlled. Measured. A statement. Not soft. Not gentle. But not cruel either. Her lips are warm. She hesitates, then responds. Just enough. Just real enough. And that flicker of response does something I don't expect. Something low, sharp, gone before it can settle. I pull back. Without a word, I take her hand again and turn toward the exit. We walk down the aisle together. Every eye follows. No one speaks. No one dares. By the time we reach the doors, the narrative has shifted. I wasn't abandoned. I adapted. I chose. I won. The doors open. Cool air hits my face. Control restored. Power intact. And then I feel it. Warm. Wet. I look down. Our hands are still clasped. Her blood is smeared across my skin. I stop. Turn to her. Really look this time. Not as a solution. Not as a move. As a problem. A dangerous one. Who are you? I ask quietly. Her throat moves. She swallows. For the first time, she looks like she might break. But she doesn't. Your wife. The word lands between us. Heavy. Final. My grip tightens slightly. Something dark settles behind my ribs. Not anger. Not irritation. Something else. Something that doesn't belong to anyone else in this world. You just tied yourself to me, I murmur. Her breath trembles. I lean closer. Close enough that only she hears me. And nothing tied to me. My voice drops. Colder. Quieter. More dangerous. Doesn't walk away. Her eyes flicker. Fear. Real this time. Good, because whatever she ran from, it just collided with something worse. And I'm not letting her go. Not until I know exactly why she chose me and what she's bleeding for. When I release her hand, she sways. Just slightly. My eyes drop back to the blood on her sleeve. Fresh. Still spreading. And suddenly, this isn't just a wedding. It's a problem that followed her here. And I just married it.
Chapter 2. The door locks behind me like a verdict. One sharp click. That is all it takes for the cathedral, the whispers, the staring eyes, the stolen vows, and the blood drying beneath my sleeve to become the past. Now there is only him. Marco Bellatoni. My husband. My mistake. My only chance. He stands between me and the door of the bridal suite, still wearing his wedding tuxedo like it was made out of darkness instead of silk. Black jacket, white shirt. Cufflinks that catch the low gold light. No loosened tie. No cracked control. No sign that he has just been abandoned at the altar and handed a stranger as a wife. That scares me more than rage would have. Rage I understand. Men like my father raged. They shouted, broke things, dragged women by their arms, and called it discipline. But Marco Bellatoni does not need to shout. He turns the lock, removes the key, and slips it into his pocket. My pulse kicks hard against my throat. "Who are you?" he asks. His voice is quiet. That somehow makes it worse. I keep my back straight even though my knees feel unreliable beneath the simple ivory dress I stole from a laundry room 3 hours ago. It is not a bridal gown. It was never meant to be. It smells faintly of starch and someone else's perfume. But it was white, and I needed white. "I told you," I say. "Your wife." His eyes sharpen, not anger, interest, predatory, terrible interest. He steps away from the door. I fight the instinct to step back, not because I am brave, because if I start retreating now, I will never stop. "No," he says. "You told the room that. Now you tell me the truth." I lift my chin. "My name is Elena." The lie tastes smooth because I have practiced it for days. Elena Caro. Widow. No family. No attachments. A woman nobody would come looking for. A woman who does not exist. Marco looks at me for a long second. Then his gaze drops to my sleeve. The cut beneath it throbs as if it knows it has been noticed. "Try again." My stomach tightens. "I don't know what you mean." He moves closer. Slow. Controlled. Not rushing me. Not giving me the mercy of panic. The room is too beautiful for this. Cream walls, crystal lights, champagne waiting in a silver bucket, white roses crawling over every table like this night was supposed to belong to a bride who wanted him. A bride who ran. A bride who still has no idea how lucky she is. Marco stops in front of me, close enough that I can see the faint shadow along his jaw, close enough that I can smell him, clean, expensive, dangerous, smoke and cedar and something cold underneath. "Women do not volunteer to marry me out of kindness," he says. "Not at my altar, not in front of 5 crime families, not while bleeding through their sleeve." My breath catches. I should have wrapped it tighter. I should have burned the dress. I should have kept running. But running brought me here. Running brought me to him. "If you wanted a quiet wife," I say, forcing my voice not to shake, You should have chosen one who didn't leave you standing alone. The moment the words leave my mouth, I regret them. Silence falls heavy. Marco's face does not change, but the room does. It becomes smaller, hotter, more dangerous. He steps closer again, and this time I have nowhere left to go. My back meets the edge of the vanity. The marble bites cold against my spine. His hands do not touch me. That is the cruelest part. He cages me without lifting a finger. You have a sharp mouth for a woman asking for protection. I didn't ask. His eyes lower to my lips, just for 1 second. Barely that, but I feel it everywhere. You offered yourself at my altar, he murmurs. That was asking. No, I swallow. That was surviving. Something flickers in his gaze. Small, gone too fast. From what? I say nothing. His eyes return to mine. From whom? Still, I stay silent, because his name is not a shield yet. Because a ring is not safety. Because powerful men only protect what they own. And I have spent my whole life being priced by men who smiled while calling it family. Marco leans in. My body betrays me. A tremor runs through me. Not surrender, not exactly fear. Something tangled between the two. He notices. Look at me, he says. I am. No, you're calculating exits. My pulse stumbles. His mouth curves, but it is not a smile. There are none. I hate that he is right. The windows are tall, locked from the inside. The balcony beyond them drops 3 floors into a courtyard crawling with Bellatoni guards. The only door is behind him. My wound is still leaking warmth beneath my sleeve. My body is running on terror and borrowed time. Still, I meet his eyes. Then I suppose you have me exactly where you want me. His expression darkens. No, he says softly. If I had you where I wanted you, I would know your real name. My throat tightens. For a moment I see my father's study. The carved desk. The maps of shipping routes spread beneath his hand. My name written in black ink beside a man twice my age with 3 dead wives and a fleet my father wanted more than he ever wanted me. Elara Vescari. Asset. Bride allocation. Transfer upon signature. I blink the memory away. Marco's gaze moves across my face like he can read every crack. Send me away, I whisper, and I die tonight. That stops him. Not physically. He is still close. Still unreadable. But something in the air pauses. I hate the weakness in my voice. Hate it enough that I force the rest out cleaner. I don't need your pity. I don't need your trust. I need your name long enough to stay alive. His eyes narrow. And what do I get? There it is. The contract hidden beneath the wedding. I almost laugh, but it would come out broken. What does a man like you need from me? His gaze drops again, slower this time. Not crude. Never that. Marco Bellatoni looks at me like he is assembling a weapon and deciding where the sharpest edge is. Truth, he says. I shake my head. That is the one thing I cannot give you. His jaw tightens. Cannot or will not? Both. The word hangs between us. I expect fury. Instead, he lifts his hand. I go still. His fingers touch my jaw, not hard. Not gentle either. Precise. His thumb rests just below my lower lip, tilting my face up when I would have turned away. My breath trembles. The touch should disgust me, terrify me. It should feel like every hand that ever grabbed too hard, every man who saw my body as a seal on a contract. It doesn't. That is the dangerous part. His hand is warm, steady, controlled. He studies the reaction he pulls from me, and I hate that he can see it. The flutter in my throat, the way my breath catches, the way fear becomes something more confusing when he is this close. You are afraid, he says. I'm not stupid. His thumb moves once, barely brushing the corner of my mouth. A spark of heat goes through me so fast I almost step back, but there is nowhere to go. His eyes sharpen, darker now. You should be more afraid. I am. The truth slips out before I can stop it. His gaze holds mine. There is a pause. Deep, electric, unbearable. He lowers his head slightly, not enough to kiss me. Enough that my body remembers the kiss at the altar, the heat of his mouth, the claim of it, the way I responded for half a heartbeat before remembering I had married a stranger to escape monsters with my blood. His breath touches my cheek. You walked into my wedding, he murmurs, and made yourself my wife. I saved you. His fingers tighten just slightly along my jaw. No. His voice drops lower. You tied yourself to Marco Bellatoni. The words slide over my skin like a warning, and nothing tied to me ever walks away. My heart pounds so hard I think he can feel it through the space between us. Maybe he can. His mouth is close. Too close. The room tilts around us. The roses, the champagne, the bed I refuse to look at, the locked door, the blood beneath my sleeve. The ring on my finger that suddenly feels heavier than iron. For one terrible second, I think he might kiss me again. Worse, I think I might let him. Not because I trust him. Not because I want this. Because my body has been running from terror for days, and his controlled heat feels like standing too near a fire after freezing in the dark. His eyes drop to my mouth, mine close halfway before I can stop them. Then he pulls back. The loss of his touch is so sudden, I almost reach for the vanity to steady myself. Shame burns my cheeks. Marco notices that too. He notices everything. Protection, he says, as if nothing happened, in exchange for obedience. My spine stiffens. No. His brow lifts, a small, dangerous movement. No? I will follow rules that keep me alive, I say. I will not kneel. I will not be locked in rooms like property. I will not be touched unless I allow it. His gaze holds mine for a long moment. Then he looks toward the locked door. The key is still in his pocket. We both know it. Slowly, deliberately, he reaches into his jacket and removes it. My breath stills. He crosses to the small table beside the door and lays the key down. Not close enough for me to grab without passing him, but visible. A statement. Not freedom. Something more complicated. I don't need locked doors to keep what is mine, he says. My stomach twists. I'm not yours. You took my name tonight. To survive. Then survive by learning what that means. Before I can answer, the window explodes. The sound tears through the room like the sky breaking open. Glass bursts inward. I scream, instinct ripping the sound from me as shards flash through the air. Marco moves before I even understand what has happened. 1 second he is across from me. The next he is on me. His arm locks around my waist. His body drives me down behind the heavy settee as gunshots punch into the wall where my head had been. Plaster bursts. Roses scatter. Champagne spills across the floor like pale blood. Stay down, he orders. His body covers mine, hard and warm and immovable. Another shot cracks through the shattered window. Then another. I can't breathe. Not because of him. Because I know who sent them. My father found me. Or worse, someone bought me before he could. Marco's hand grips the back of my neck, keeping me low as his other hand reaches beneath his jacket. A gun appears in his palm. Of course he looks calm with it. Outside the room, men shout. Footsteps thunder toward the door. Marco fires once toward the broken window. The gunshot is deafening. I flinch hard. He feels it. His grip adjusts, not softer, but shielding. Are you hit? He asks. I shake my head, but my voice won't come. His eyes cut to my sleeve. Blood has soaked through fully now, dark against the ivory fabric. His face changes. Barely. But I see it. The calculation sharpens into something colder. Was this from them? I stare at him. Another shot slams into the wall above us. He pulls me tighter against the floor. Elena, he says. The false name sounds wrong in his mouth. Dead. Empty. I close my eyes. For 1 second, I'm back in the alley behind the cathedral, hand clamped over my arm, running with my father's men behind me, and stolen secrets taped beneath the lining of my bag. No more lies, some tired part of me whispers. No more small lies when the big ones are already bleeding through. I open my eyes. My name isn't Elena. Marco goes still. Even with chaos around us, I feel the full weight of his attention land on me. What is it? The door bursts open. Bellatoni guards flood the room, weapons drawn, shouting orders. Marco does not look away from me. Not once. My mouth goes dry. If I say it, everything changes. If I don't, I may not live long enough for it to matter. Elara, I whisper. His gaze hardens. Elara what? The gunfire outside stops. The silence after it is somehow worse. I look at the broken window, at the shattered glass, at the blood on my sleeve, at the man I married because monsters were coming and I needed a bigger one to stand between us. Then I look back at Marco Bellatoni. Elara Vescari. For the first time since I met him, his control cracks. Not much, just enough. Enough for me to understand that my name means something in his world, something dangerous. His hand tightens around the gun. Elara Vescari, he repeats softly, like a curse, like a threat, like the beginning of a war. I force myself not to look away, and then his head turns toward the broken window, toward the night beyond it, toward whoever came to kill me. His voice drops into something lethal. Now I understand. My heart sinks. What? He looks back at me, cold, furious, certain. This woman did not find me by accident, and from the way he says it, I know he doesn't mean the men outside, he means me.
Chapter 3, Elara Vescari. The name leaves my mouth before I decide to say it, and the second it does, Everything in the room changes. She goes still. Not subtly, not controlled. Completely still. Like something inside her just locked into place. I watch it happen. Every fraction of it. The way her breath cuts off. The way her shoulders tighten. The way her eyes sharpen. Not in confusion, in recognition. There it is. Truth. I knew it the moment I saw her. Didn't have the name yet, but I had the feeling. The kind you don't ignore. The kind that keeps you alive. Now I have both. Elara Vescari. Not just a runaway. Not just a problem. Something much worse. Something worth a war. You're wrong. Her voice comes out steady. Too steady. Practiced. I almost smile. Am I? I step closer. Slow. Measured. She doesn't step back. Good. You walked into my wedding bleeding, offered yourself in front of men who would sell their own blood for power. And you think I didn't look into you before I brought you into my house? Her jaw tightens. Your house? My house. I repeat. A beat. My name. My protection. My problem. Silence stretches. Tight. She exhales slowly, like she's deciding something, like she's weighing options she doesn't have. You shouldn't have said it out loud, she says. Interesting. Not denial. Not fear. Strategy. Why, I ask. Her eyes meet mine. Sharp. Cold. Because now it's real. I tilt my head slightly. It was always real. No, she says quietly. Now it's dangerous for you. That almost makes me laugh. Almost. Everything is dangerous for me, I say. A beat. You're not special. Her eyes flicker. Just slightly. There it is again. That reaction she tries to hide. That thing beneath the control. Good. I close the distance between us. Completely. My hand lifts. Stops just short of her face. A choice. Then I touch her. My fingers brush along her jaw. Light. Testing. Her breath catches. There it is. Again every time. You came here on purpose, I say. Quietly. I needed a place they wouldn't follow. They will follow. Yes. No hesitation. No illusion. Just truth. Then you didn't come here to hide, I say. I came here to survive. Our eyes lock, and for a second, just a second, something shifts. Because I believe her. Because I understand that. Because survival is the only language that matters in this world. Who sold you, I ask. Her entire body goes still. Not fear. Not weakness. Something colder. Something deeper. My family, she says, flat, clean, like she's already buried the emotion. They made a deal. With who? Her lips pressed together. I don't know. I don't believe that, but I don't push. Not yet. Routes, she continues. Ports. Access. Her voice drops slightly. And me. There it is. The truth. Ugly. Simple. Unavoidable. You were part of the exchange. Yes. And you ran. Yes. A beat. Then you took something. Her eyes flicker. There. That's it. The real answer. I didn't take anything, she says. I don't move. Don't react. Don't let her think I'm convinced. People don't send men after something they're willing to lose, I say. Her breathing shifts. Just slightly. They weren't coming for me, she says. I step closer. My hand tightens slightly at her jaw. Not enough to hurt. Enough to hold. They always are. Silence. Heavy. Then, they're coming for what I know. That lands harder. Because that's worse. Because that means she's not just valuable. She's dangerous. To them. To me. To everyone. What do you know? I ask. Her gaze holds mine. Steady. Unflinching. Enough to make them burn everything to get it back. There it is. War. I feel it settle in my chest. Cold. Certain. Unavoidable. Good. I release her. Step back. The distance feels wrong now. Too sudden. Too empty. I ignore it. What you brought into my house, I say slowly, isn't a problem. Her brows pull together slightly. It's leverage. Her breath catches. There it is again. That reaction. That pull. That awareness that she just shifted the balance of something bigger than both of us. You don't get to use me, she says. I already am. Her eyes flash. Anger. Real. Sharp. Good. That I trust. You don't even know what it is, she pushes. I know enough. You don't. I know you didn't walk into my life empty-handed. A beat. And I know you chose me. Silence. That one hits. I see it. The way her control slips for just a second. You were the only option, she says. No, I reply. I step closer again. Close enough that she has to feel me. Don't lie to me. Her breath stutters. I lower my voice. You had a room full of powerful men, I murmur. You chose the one who doesn't bend. Her lips part. She doesn't answer. Because she can't. Because I'm right. My hand lifts again. This time, I don't hesitate. My fingers slide to the back of her neck. Firm, controlled, holding her there. Her body tenses. Then, doesn't pull away. You didn't choose safety, I say quietly. Her breath brushes against my jaw. Warm, unsteady. You chose danger. A beat. Then, her voice drops, soft, honest. I chose survival. That's the truth. I feel it, recognize it, respect it. My grip loosens slightly. Not releasing, never releasing, just shifting. Then you're going to learn something, I say. Her eyes meet mine. Waiting. What? That's survival in my world. I lean in, close enough that there's no space left between us. Close enough that I can feel the way her breath catches again. Comes with a cost. Silence crashes down. Heavy. Charged. Because we both know this just became something neither of us can walk away from. Her fingers curl slightly into my shirt, not pulling me closer, not pushing me away, just holding. And for the first time, I realize something I don't like. She didn't just run into my world. She might be the reason it burns.
Chapter 4. They look at me like I don't belong here. That's the first thing I understand when Marco Bellatoni walks me into the room full of men who decide who lives and who disappears. It isn't subtle. It isn't hidden behind polite smiles or careful diplomacy. It's in the way conversations cut off the second we enter. In the way chairs scrape slightly as bodies shift. Not to stand, not to greet, but to adjust distance. In the way every single gaze lands on me. And stays there. Me. Not him. That should terrify me. Instead, something colder settles in my chest. Because I know that look. I've worn it before, just on the other side. Assessment. Value. Threat. Asset. The long table stretches across the center of the room, polished dark wood reflecting the low light above it. Men sit on either side, older, younger, brutal in different ways. Rings flash on their fingers. Watches that cost more than entire neighborhoods tick quietly against their wrists. Power. Dressed in tailored suits. Marco doesn't slow. His hand finds my waist as we step forward, firm and unyielding, fingers pressing just enough to anchor me there. The contact is deliberate, possessive, a statement. My spine stiffens instinctively, but I don't pull away, because every instinct I have tells me that would be worse. Gentlemen, Marco says, his voice cutting through the silence like it belongs there, like it owns the room. You've all met my wife. The word lands heavy. Wife, not placeholder, not explanation, not apology. Claim. The reactions ripple immediately. A man at the far end, silver hair, sharp eyes, leans back slightly, his gaze dragging over me in a way that feels less like curiosity and more like calculation. Unexpected, he says. His voice is smooth, too smooth. Everything about this world that pretends to be smooth is hiding something violent underneath. Marco doesn't even look at him. Effective, he replies. A quiet murmur runs along the table. I feel it. Like a current brushing against my skin. They're not questioning him. They're questioning me. Good. Let them. Marco's hand shifts slightly at my waist, guiding me forward another step, closer to the table, closer to the men who could decide I'm not worth the disruption I bring. Sit, he murmurs low enough that only I can hear. I lower myself into the chair at his right, not slowly, not hesitantly, controlled, measured, every movement deliberate. If they want to watch, I'll give them something worth watching. Marco doesn't sit immediately. He remains standing for a second longer, letting the weight of his presence settle over the room. Then, my wife stays, he says. Not a request. Not a negotiation. A line drawn in stone. A man across from me scoffs lightly. Your wife arrived bleeding through her sleeve and under gunfire, he says. Forgive us if we question the timing. My fingers curl slightly in my lap. Marco finally sits, leans back. Calm. Too calm. The timing isn't your concern. No, the silver-haired man says again, steepling his fingers, but the consequences are. Silence stretches, tight, controlled, waiting for Marco to react, waiting for him to show weakness, or anger, or anything they can use. He gives them nothing. Instead, his hand shifts again, resting against the back of my chair now, just behind my shoulder. Not touching, but there, a presence, a warning. If you have something to say, Marco says evenly, say it. The silver-haired man studies him for a long moment. Then his gaze flicks back to me. Vescari, he says. The name lands like a dropped blade. The room goes still. My pulse slams hard against my throat, but I don't move, don't react, don't breathe too deeply. Nothing. But Marco goes very, very still, not visibly, not to anyone who doesn't know what to look for. But I feel it. The shift. The tightening of something beneath his control. You seem confident in that, Marco says. The man's lips curve slightly. We have ears everywhere. Of course, my name wouldn't stay hidden. Not here. Not in a room like this. The man leans forward slightly, eyes sharp now. Your wife belongs to a family that doesn't lose what it owns, he continues, especially not something as valuable as her. Something as valuable. Not someone, something. My jaw tightens. Marco's hand lowers, just slightly, his fingers brushing the back of my chair, then settling again. Still not touching me, but close enough that I feel it like a brand. She belongs to me, he says. The words are quiet, but they hit harder than anything else in the room. The silver-haired man tilts his head. Does she? Marco's gaze doesn't waver. I married her. That doesn't stop a war. No, it doesn't. I know that better than anyone. My father didn't raise me to be protected by vows. He raised me to be traded by them. Silence settles again. Heavier this time. More dangerous. Marco's fingers shift again, this time brushing lightly, almost accidentally, against the back of my neck as he leans forward. The contact is brief, barely there, but it sends a sharp, unexpected heat through me that I can't explain. Or stop. His voice drops slightly. Then we'll handle the war when it comes. The room absorbs that. No hesitation. No doubt, just certainty. That's when it changes. The way they look at him, at me, at us. Not as a mistake, not as a scandal, but as something that might actually hold. Something dangerous, something worth watching. A phone buzzes against the table. Sharp, intrusive. The sound cuts through everything. Marco doesn't move, but the man beside him does, glancing down at the screen, then going still. His expression shifts, subtle, but wrong. What is it? Marco asks. The man hesitates, just for a second, then turns the phone, sliding it across the table toward Marco. Marco picks it up. His eyes scan whatever is on the screen, and for the first time since I met him, something dark and unmistakable flickers across his face. Not loss of control, but something close. His jaw tightens. Slow, deliberate. He sets the phone down, doesn't look at me immediately, but I feel it coming. Feel the weight of whatever that message was pressing toward me before he even speaks. Your family is asking for you back, he says. The words land flat, deadly. My father doesn't lose assets, he retrieves them, destroys them, or replaces them. What did they offer? Someone asks from the far end of the table. Marco's gaze shifts. Cold. Not enough. A quiet ripple of tension moves through the room. They're not just asking for me back, they're negotiating, trading, placing value on my head like I'm cargo. Just like always. My stomach twists, not with fear, with something sharper, anger, hot, ugly, familiar. Marco finally turns his head, looks at me, really looks. And I see it, the calculation again, but it's different now. Deeper, more dangerous. What did you take, he asks quietly. Not for the room, for me. Only me. The question hangs there, heavy. I meet his gaze, hold it. I don't answer. Because if I do, everything changes, again. The silver-haired man leans back, watching us both now like he's already decided this ends in blood. It won't matter, he says. They'll come either way. He's right. They will. They always do. Marco's fingers tighten slightly against the back of my chair. Not enough to hurt, enough to remind. You don't speak for me, Marco says. No, the man agrees easily. But I do understand power. Marco stands, slowly, deliberately. The movement shifts the room instantly. Attention sharpens, spines straighten. This is where decisions happen. This is where lines are drawn. My wife stays, Marco says. Again, stronger, final. If the Vescari want her, he continues, they'll come through me. The words land like a declaration, not just to the room, to the world beyond it, to my father, to every man who has ever written my name beside a price. I feel it then, the shift inside me, not safety, not trust, something else, something dangerous. Because for the first time in my life, someone didn't offer me up, didn't negotiate me, didn't soften the truth of what I am to make it easier to trade. He just kept me, claimed me, like I was worth the war. The meeting ends shortly after that, not cleanly, not comfortably, but decisively. Chairs scrape, voices lower, men leave in controlled waves, each one casting a final glance at me before they go. Not dismissive, not anymore. Now it's something sharper. Awareness. When the last of them disappears, the room finally exhales. Silence settles. Marco doesn't move immediately. Neither do I. Then, come, he says. I stand, follow, because where else am I going to go? We walk through the halls of his estate. Marble floors, high ceilings, walls lined with art that looks like it was painted with blood and money. His hand finds my waist again. Less forceful this time. Still there. Still anchoring. We stop in front of a set of doors. He opens them. Pushes me inside, then follows. The room is quieter than the last, darker, private. The door shuts behind us. This time, he doesn't lock it. I notice. He turns to face me. No table, no guards, no witnesses, just us. The tension shifts immediately, different from before. He steps closer, Slow, measured. I don't step back. I don't know if that's strength or something worse. You heard them, he says. I did. They will come. I know. Silence stretches. Then his hand lifts. This time, it doesn't stop at the air between us. His fingers close lightly around my chin, tilting my face up. The touch is controlled, but not distant. My breath stumbles. Again. Every time. You walked into this knowing that, he says. Yes. Why me? There it is, the real question. Not strategy, not war. Choice. I hold his gaze, because if I look away now, I lose something I don't fully understand yet. Because you don't bend, I say quietly. His eyes darken. And you think that protects you? No, I whisper. I think it makes you dangerous enough that they hesitate. A beat. Then, and I needed them to hesitate. Something shifts in his expression. Not soft. Never soft, but sharper. Focused, interested. His thumb brushes once against my jaw. Slow. Testing. My pulse jumps. I hate that he can feel it. Hate that I can't stop it. You're playing a very dangerous game, Elara, he murmurs. I've been playing it my whole life. His gaze drops to my mouth just for a second, but it's enough. The air thickens. My breath catches. Not fear. Not entirely. Something tangled. Something that shouldn't exist in a moment like this. His hand tightens slightly, then loosens. Control. Always control. Then learn the rules here, he says quietly. And what are they? His eyes lift back to mine. Cold. Certain. You don't get to lose. The words land hard, because I understand them, because I know exactly what losing looks like. I nod once. Not submission, agreement, because for the first time, I might actually have a chance not to. Marco releases me, steps back. The distance feels wrong now, too sudden, too empty. You're bleeding again, he says. I glance down. The sleeve is darker now, soaked. I didn't even feel it. Sit, he orders. I do. This time without hesitation, because some fights aren't worth picking, and some you save for later. He moves toward the cabinet, pulling out supplies with the same precision he does everything else. When he returns, his hands are steady, controlled, dangerous. And for reasons I don't fully understand, I feel safer with him standing over me than I ever did in my father's house. That terrifies me more than anything else. Because Marco Bellatoni didn't save me. He claimed me, and somewhere between the altar and the gunfire, I let him. As Marco presses clean cloth against my wound, his voice drops low. Your brother is coming. My blood runs cold. How do you know? His eyes meet mine, because he already knows exactly how this ends. Because if they want you back, he says quietly, they won't send anyone else first.
Chapter 5. The gates don't open for men like him. They break. I watch it happen from the terrace above the courtyard, iron screaming as it bends, security alarms cutting through the morning air, my men already moving into position with weapons drawn. I don't rush. I never rush. Because this is exactly what I expected. Elara's brother? One of my captains asks behind me. I don't turn. Yes. Below, the black car idles just past the twisted gates like it owns the ground it's sitting on. Doors open slowly. No panic. No chaos. A statement. A man steps out. Tall. Controlled. Calm. Not desperate. Not reckless. Confident. I study him carefully. This isn't someone sent to beg. This is someone sent to remind. Let him through, I say. Silence behind me. Sir? Let him through. A pause. Then movement. Because my men trust me. Because they know I don't make careless decisions. Because they know this isn't just about a woman. It's about power. I glance toward the glass doors behind me. She's there. Elara. Standing just inside. Watching. Her face is controlled, but her hands aren't. They're clenched. Tight enough to turn white. She knows. I meet her eyes for 1 second, then I turn away. Bring him to the courtyard. She doesn't follow immediately. I feel it, the hesitation, the weight of whatever stands between her and the man walking through my gates. Then, footsteps, soft, controlled. She moves beside me as we descend the stairs. I don't look at her, but I feel everything. Her breathing, the tension in her body, the way she's holding herself together. Good, she should be. We step into the courtyard just as he reaches the center. No guards around him, no visible weapons. He doesn't need them. Marco Bellatoni, he says. I stop a few feet away. Close enough, not too close. Vescari. No names. Not yet. His gaze shifts, lands on her, and something flickers across his face. Not relief, not concern. Recognition, ownership. Elara, her spine straightens beside me. Adrian, so that's it. Her brother, the one sent to clean up the mess. I let the silence stretch, let the tension build, because this moment matters. First words always do. You've made a mistake, Adrian says. I don't react. I don't make those. You married something that doesn't belong to you. I don't even glance at her. She stood at my altar, I say. That makes her mine. His mouth tightens slightly. Does it? I take a step forward. Just enough. I married her. That doesn't stop a war. No, it doesn't. I already know that. She belongs to a family that doesn't lose what it owns, he continues, especially not something as valuable as her. Something, not someone. I feel the shift beside me, the tension in her. She belongs to me, I say. Quiet, clear, final. Adrian tilts his head. Does she? My gaze doesn't move. I married her. She was promised. There it is, truth, ugly and simple. Promised to who? I ask. You don't need that detail. Then I don't need to listen. Silence settles again, thicker this time, more dangerous. She wasn't yours to take, he says. She was already part of an agreement. Elara, Adrian says, his voice softer now, like he's coaxing her back into place. You've made this harder than it needed to be. She laughs, sharp, cold. I made it harder? You ran, he says. You took things that don't belong to you. You forced this. Our. Always our. Never her. You were going to sell me, she says. Flat, unmoving. Adrian doesn't deny it. It was an arrangement. It was a transaction. It was necessary. For who? She snaps. For the family. I watch her carefully now. The shift in her. The anger. The crack in control. This is the first time I've seen it. Real. Unfiltered. And it does something I don't expect. Something low. Something sharp. Protective. Come home, Adrian says. She doesn't move. I'm not going back. His gaze shifts to me. Then I'll take you. The threat lands without volume, without movement. And something in me snaps into place. My hand moves. Without thinking, without planning, it settles at the back of her neck. Firm, grounding, a claim. She stills, but she doesn't pull away. Adrian notices. You don't understand, he says. This doesn't end with a conversation. I step forward, bringing her with me, positioning her slightly behind me, protected. And you don't understand, I say quietly. She's not leaving. A beat, not with you. The courtyard goes silent. Adrian studies me, long, careful. Then something shifts, recognition. He nods once. Small, controlled. Then this becomes something else. It already is. His gaze moves to her again. And this time, there's something different there. Not ownership, not anger, warning. You should have come back when I asked, he says. Her jaw tightens. I should have never been there. A flicker, then gone. He turns, walks back toward the car. No rush, no fear, because men like him don't fear consequences. They bring them. The engine starts, and then he's gone. The courtyard exhales, but I don't, not yet. My hand is still at the back of her neck, still holding her there. I feel it now, the way the tension is leaving her, slowly, in waves. They're gonna come back, she says quietly. I know. They won't stop. I know. A pause. Then you should have let him take me. The words hit wrong, sharp, immediate. My grip tightens. No. She exhales, frustrated. You don't understand, I turn her. Not rough, but firm enough that she has to face me. I understand exactly, I say. You were being traded. Her breath catches. You ran. My thumb shifts slightly against her neck. And now you're here. Her eyes lock onto mine. And that doesn't change anything. It changes everything. Silence. Then something in her breaks. Not loudly, not dramatically, just soft. Her forehead presses against my chest, like she didn't mean to, like her body gave up before her mind could stop it. I go still, because this is different. Not defiance, not strategy. Just exhaustion. Just a woman who's been running too long. My hand move, slower this time, careful. It slides from her neck to her back, not pulling, just there. She exhales against me, shaky, uneven. My other hand lifts, hesitates, then settles lightly at her waist. Not claiming, not yet. For a moment, nothing else exists. Then I lower my head slightly, close enough that my voice brushes against her hair. Don't mistake this for weakness. Her breath catches. I won't. Good. Because this, whatever this is, isn't soft. It isn't safe. It isn't something either of us can afford. I pull back. The distance returns. Cold. Necessary. You're bleeding again, I say. She glances down. The sleeve is darker now. Soaked. I didn't feel it. Let's go inside. We walked back into the house in silence. Sit. This time, she does, without argument. I move toward the cabinet. Pull out supplies. Return. My hands are steady. Controlled. Dangerous. And for reasons I don't fully understand, she doesn't look afraid. That's the problem. That's what makes this dangerous. Because she should be. Because I am. As I press clean cloth against her wound, my voice drops. Your brother is coming back. She goes still. How do you know? I meet her eyes. Because I already see how this ends. Because if they want you back, I tighten the bandage. They won't send anyone else first.
Chapter 6. I know something is wrong before anyone says it. It's not loud, not obvious. It's the silence. The kind that doesn't belong in a house like this. Too still, too controlled, like everything is waiting. I stand just outside his office door, my hand hovering for a second before I push it open. Marco is inside. Standing behind the desk, sleeves rolled, jaw tight, eyes locked on something projected across the surface. Light flickers blue across his face. Cold, sharp, dangerous. He doesn't look up when I step in. You shouldn't be in here. His voice is calm, controlled, but there's something underneath it, something tighter than usual. I wasn't asking permission, I say. That gets his attention. His gaze lifts, pins me where I stand, and for a second, just a second, I feel it. That pull, that weight, that thing about him that makes everything feel like it's about to snap. Then his eyes drop back to the table. Close the door. I do. The click sounds louder than it should. When I turn back, I see it. The projection, lines, routes, ports, moving like veins across the surface, alive, breathing, dangerous. My stomach tightens. Because I recognize it, because I know exactly what I'm looking at, because I wasn't supposed to see it again. You shouldn't be showing me this, I say quietly. I'm not showing you anything. He replies. You walked in. That's not the same thing, but I don't argue. I step closer instead, slow. They're careful, drawn to it even when I shouldn't be. You know what this is, he says. It's not a question. No. I lie. His mouth curves slightly. Cold. You're not very good at that. I don't need to be. No, he agrees. You don't, because he already knows, because he always knows more than he says. I stop at the edge of the desk, close enough now that the light catches everything. The patterns, the connections, the truth. It's not just routes. It's control, power, movement, everything my family built, mapped out like it belongs to him now. My chest tightens. You have it, I say. Not a question, a realization. His gaze shifts to me. Sharp. I have pieces. Enough. Not all. Silence stretches. Because we both know what that means. Because we both know what's missing. Because we both know who has it. Me. You think I brought it with me, I say. I know you didn't come empty-handed. I should lie. I should deflect. I should shut this down. But instead, even if I did, I say slowly, why would I give it to you? He steps closer. The distance closes. Too fast, too easily. Because I'm the reason you're still alive. My breath catches. Not because of the words, because of how close he is, because of the way his presence fills the space, because of the way my body reacts before my mind catches up. That's not a reason, I say. It's the only one you need. His hand moves. I don't expect it. Not this fast. Not this certain. His fingers close around my wrist, firm, controlled, not hurting, but not letting me pull away. You don't get to stand in my house, he says quietly. Look at what I built and pretend you're not part of it. My pulse spikes. You don't get to decide that. I already did. My breath stumbles, because he believes that. Because he always believes what he says. Because he doesn't say anything he's not willing to enforce. I pull against his grip. Not hard. Just enough to test it. He doesn't let go. Let me go, I say. No. The word lands. Simple. Final. Stodi. My heart kicks harder. Not fear. Not exactly. Something else. Something sharper. You don't own me, I say. His gaze darkens. I don't need to. And that's worse, because it's true, because this isn't about ownership. It's about control, about proximity, about the fact that I'm here, in his space, in his world, and I didn't leave when I had the chance. His grip shifts, not loosening, changing. His thumb brushes lightly over the inside of my wrist, slow, deliberate. My breath catches, again, every time. He notices. You feel that, he murmurs. I feel a lot of things, I say. None of them are smart. His mouth curves slightly. Smart isn't what kept you alive. No, it wasn't. Survival did. And now you're here. A beat. Then, why? The question hits harder than anything else. Because I don't have a clean answer. Because I didn't plan this part. Because stepping into his world wasn't supposed to feel like this. I told you, I say quietly, I needed somewhere they wouldn't touch. They will. Yes. No hesitation. No illusion. Just truth. His grip tightens slightly. Then you didn't come here to hide. I came here to survive. Our eyes lock. And for a second, everything else disappears. The room, the light, the danger. Just him. Just me. Too close, too aware, too much. His hand lifts, moves from my wrist to my jaw, slow, careful, testing. I should pull away. I don't. His fingers brush along my skin, warm, steady, controlled. My breath stutters. I hate that he can feel it, hate that I can't stop it. You're dangerous, he says quietly. So are you. Yes, no denial, no hesitation, just truth. The air tightens, thick, heavy. Because this isn't just about information anymore. This isn't just about survival. This is something else. Something neither of us planned. Something neither of us is stopping. His hand shifts, slides to the back of my neck. Pulls me closer. Not rough, not gentle, certain. My hands move before I can stop them, pressing against his chest, not pushing him away. Holding the space, holding myself there. You don't get to control this, I whisper. His breath brushes my lips. I already do. A lie, a truth, something in between. And then the door slams open. The moment shatters. Clean, violent, immediate. We both pull back. Fast. Too fast. Like it didn't just happen. Like it didn't almost happen. Sir, one of his men, breathing hard, urgent. There's been a breach. Marco goes still beside me, completely still. What kind of breach? Internal. Silence drops, heavy, unavoidable, because that's worse. Because that means they're already inside, Marco says. Not a question, a fact. My stomach drops. Because I know exactly what that means. Because I know who that points to. Because I know this was never going to stay contained. His gaze shifts to me. Sharp, dangerous, stay behind me. My heart kicks hard. I'm not hiding. You're not deciding. And just like that, we're back. Back to control. Back to power. Back to war. As we move toward the door, his voice drops just enough for only me to hear. If they're inside. My breath tightens. Then they're here for you. And this time, there's nowhere left to run.
Chapter 7. The moment I hear where she is, I stop thinking. Not strategically, not carefully, not like I always do, because there are some things you don't calculate, you take. Say it again, I tell him. My voice is quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that makes men hesitate. They moved her, my man says. Private location, not one of ours. My jaw tightens. Where? A pause. Then underground auction. The word lands like a blade. Clean, sharp, unacceptable. For a second, just one. Everything in me goes still. Because I know what that means. I know exactly what that room looks like. I know what happens inside it. And I know what they're doing to her right now, even if they haven't touched her yet. My hand tightens slightly against the edge of the table. Then I straighten. Get the car. I don't bring a full crew. I don't need one. This isn't a war. Not yet. This is a message. And messages don't require numbers. They require precision. We stop outside a building that shouldn't exist. No signage, no traffic, no mistakes. Good. I step out, adjust my jacket. My gun sits exactly where it should. Hidden. Ready. I walk inside like I belong there. Because I do. Because men like me always do. The hallway is quiet, too quiet. The kind of quiet that hides something ugly. Then, the door, closed, waiting. I don't hesitate, I push it open. The room is exactly what I expected. Low lighting, velvet seating, men in shadows, watching, waiting, bidding, and in the center, her, Elara, standing under a single light like something on display, like something being measured, like something being priced. My vision narrows, everything else fades. The men, the room, the noise. There's only her. She's still, too still. But I see it, the tension in her shoulders, the way her hands are held just slightly too tight, the way her breathing is controlled, forced. She's holding. Barely. And then her eyes find mine, and everything changes. I see it, the exact moment, the shift, the relief she won't show, the control snapping back into place. Good, because she's not breaking here, not like this. I step forward, slow, measured, every movement deliberate, every step a statement. No one stops me because they know exactly who I am, because they understand what happens next. To what, I say quietly, do I owe the invitation? The room stills. Every voice dies. Every movement stops. Adrian turns. You shouldn't be here, he says. I almost smile. I disagree. I keep walking. Closer. Closer, until I'm standing just a few steps from her, from him, from the center of this mistake. You seem to be selling something that belongs to me. The words land, hard, final. Adrian's gaze sharpens. She was ours first. I step forward. One more step. Was. Silence, heavy, unavoidable. I don't look at him anymore. I look at her. Take in everything, the position, the tension, the fact that she's standing here in this room and still hasn't broken. My hand lifts, closes around her wrist. Firm, grounding, pulling her slightly closer to me. A claim, not hidden, not subtle, clear. She is not for sale, I say. No one argues. No one moves. Because no one here wants to be the man who pushes this. Not like this. Not with me standing here. Adrian studies me. Long. Careful. You're making this worse, he says. I'm ending it. The silence shifts because they hear it, because they know it's true, because they understand what happens when I decide something. I tighten my grip slightly, not enough to hurt her, enough to remind, enough to anchor. Come, I say quietly. She doesn't hesitate, doesn't question, doesn't resist. Good. We turn, start toward the door, and for a second, I think that's it, that it ends clean, that it ends controlled. But nothing ends clean in this world. You're afraid, Adrian says behind me. I slowly, not turning yet, because I already know what he's doing, what he's trying to push, what he wants me to show. You're afraid of what she brings with her, he continues, afraid of what she is. I turn, just enough. My gaze locks onto his. I don't get afraid. You should, he says, a beat. She'll burn everything you built. Silence stretches. Then I'll decide what burns, I say. Final, unmoving, unshaken. I don't wait for his response. I don't give him anything else. I turn back, pull her with me, and this time no one tries to stop us. The hallway is quieter on the way out, but not safer. Never safer. My grip on her wrist doesn't loosen. Not yet. Not until we're outside. Not until the door closes behind us. Not until the air changes. Only then do I stop. Turn. Look at her. Really look. You don't get to do that again, I say. Her breathing is uneven, but her eyes, steady, defiant. Then don't make me. That hits differently. Because she means it. Because she's not afraid to say it. Because she's not pretending this is something it's not. My grip shifts. From her wrist to her hand. Fingers closing around hers. Holding. Not forcing. Not dragging. Just there. You don't get to choose that anymore, I say. Her breath catches. But you do? Yes, silence. Thick. Charged. She doesn't pull away. Doesn't break. Doesn't look down. Good. My hand lifts. Slides to the back of her neck. Familiar now. Too familiar. I pull her closer. Not rough. Not soft. Certain. Final. You're not something they get to take, I murmur. Her breath brushes against my jaw. Warm. Unsteady. You don't own me. No, not ownership. Something else. Something worse. I don't have to, I say quietly. A beat. Then, I chose you. The words settle. Heavy, real, unavoidable. And for a second, just a second, something shifts between us. Not control, not strategy, something deeper. Something neither of us is naming. Good, because the second we name it, it becomes something harder to survive. I release her. Step back. The distance returns. Necessary. Controlled. But it doesn't feel the same anymore. Nothing does. As we reach the car, one of my men steps forward. Sir, we identified who set this up. My gaze sharpens. Who? A beat. Then, a woman. I go still. Because now, this isn't just a retrieval, it's personal, and someone just made a very expensive mistake.
Chapter 8. The car door shuts and the world disappears. Not the noise, not the danger, just everything else. There's no auction room, no voices, no bids, no men watching me like I'm something to be bought and broken. There's only the sharp, contained silence inside Marco Bellatoni's car, and the way his hand is still wrapped around my wrist. He hasn't let go. Not since he pulled me out of that room. Not since he walked in like the entire world belonged to him and decided I did too. My pulse is still racing, too fast, too loud, too real. I don't pull away. I should. Every instinct I have screams at me to. Because this is how it starts. A hand that doesn't let go, a voice that says stay. A man who decides you belong to him and never gives you the chance to disagree, but I don't move, because the truth is, I don't want to. And that terrifies me more than anything that happened in that room. Marco finally releases me, slowly, deliberately, like it's a decision, not a reaction. The loss of his touch hits harder than it should. I look away, out the window, anywhere but at him. The city blurs past in streaks of light and shadow, and for a second I let myself breathe. Just breathe. Until you didn't tell me. His voice cuts through the silence. Low, controlled, dangerous. I close my eyes briefly. Of course we're here now. Of course this is where it turns. What didn't I tell you? I ask. He doesn't answer immediately. I can feel his gaze on me. Heavy, focused, stripping through every layer I've built to keep myself standing. You were being auctioned, he says. The word lands like a bruise. Fresh, ugly. I turn back slowly. Was that not clear enough? I ask, my voice sharper than I intend. His jaw tightens. No, a beat. You told me they were selling you. You didn't tell me how. My throat tightens, because there is no good way to explain that. No version of it that sounds less like what it is. I didn't think the details mattered. They do. Why, I snap. So, you could decide exactly how valuable I am. The words come out wrong. Too raw, too close to something I've spent years trying to bury. Marco's gaze darkens. That's not what this is. It always is. Silence crashes between us, sharp, unforgiving, because I meant that, because it's true, because no one in my life has ever proven otherwise. The car slows, stops. We're back at his estate, safe. If this is what safe looks like, the door opens. Neither of us moves immediately. Then, out, he says. I don't argue. I step out into the cool night air, pulling my arms around myself as if that will hold me together better than anything else. It doesn't. Nothing does. Marco follows. His presence fills the space around me instantly. Too close, too steady, too much. We walk in silence through the doors, down the hall, back into the same room where everything started to unravel. The door shuts behind us, and just like that, it's only us again. No witnesses. No distractions. No escape. I turn to face him. Say what you need to say. His eyes lock onto mine, cold, sharp, unyielding. You don't trust me. It's not a question. I let out a short breath. No. The honesty hangs there, ugly, uncomfortable, necessary, and yet you married me. I needed you. The words slip out before I can soften them. Marco's expression doesn't change, but something shifts. Small, dangerous. You needed my name, he corrects. Yes, and now you have it. Yes, a pause. Then, so what happens next? I don't have an answer for that. I've never had an answer for anything beyond the next step, the next escape, the next breath. I stay alive, I say finally. His gaze sharpens. That's not enough. It has been so far. He steps closer, closing the space. Again. Always closing the space. Not anymore. My breath catches, because there's something different in his voice now. Not just control, not just calculation, something else. Something that feels like it's pressing against the edges of everything we've been circling. What do you want from me? I ask. The question is quieter this time, less defiant, more real. Marco stops just in front of me, close enough that I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes, close enough that I feel the heat of him, the weight of his presence. All of it, he says. My chest tightens. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. Silence stretches, thick, heavy. I should walk away. I should put distance between us. I should remember exactly who he is and what he does and what it means to be standing this close to him. Instead, I stay. Because something inside me refuses to move, refuses to give him that ground. You don't trust me either, I say. His mouth curves slightly. That's not true. I blink. Surprised. No? I don't trust anyone, he corrects, a beat. Especially not someone who walked into my life carrying a weapon I didn't see coming. My pulse jumps. You mean the codes? I mean you. The words hit harder than they should, because they're not just about power, they're about me. And that's new. Dangerous, unfamiliar. Then why did you come for me, I ask. The question slips out before I can stop it. His eyes flicker, just for a second, then settle back into that steady, controlled focus. Because you're mine, he says. My breath catches. Not because I believe it, because I don't, because I can't, because I won't. But because of the way he says it. Like it's already decided, like it's already real. No, I say, forcing the word out. I'm not. He steps closer, closer than before. His hand lifts, pauses, then settles lightly against my jaw. The touch is familiar now. Too familiar. My body reacts instantly, breath stuttering, pulse racing, everything inside me pulling tight and unraveling at the same time. You stood at my altar, he murmurs. I had no choice. You always have a choice. Not then. His thumb brushes once along the edge of my jaw, slow, deliberate testing. I feel it everywhere. The heat, the tension, the pull of something I don't understand and don't want to name. You chose me, he says. The words are quiet, but they land. Hard, because he's right, because I did. Because out of every man in that room, I chose him. I chose survival, I whisper. And I was the safest option? No, I say. My voice shakes, just slightly. You were the most dangerous. Something shifts in his expression, not softer, never soft, but something sharpens, focuses. Good, he says. The word sends a strange, unexpected heat through me, because he doesn't want to be safe. He wants to be feared, and for some reason that doesn't make me want to pull away. It makes me want to understand him, which is worse. So much worse. His hand tightens slightly, not enough to hurt, enough to hold. Then stop pretending this is temporary, he says. My heart stumbles. I don't have to pretend anything. Yes, you do. Silence falls, because we both know what he means. We both know what this is becoming, and neither of us wants to say it out loud. My fingers curl slightly at my sides. Then, before I can stop myself, I step closer, closing the space, matching him. His eyes darken immediately. The shift is instant, electric, dangerous. You don't get to decide what this is, I say. My voice is low now, steady, even though everything inside me is anything but. His hand moves from my jaw to the back of my neck, firm, grounding, pulling me just slightly closer. And you don't get to walk away from it, he replies. The words hang between us, heavy, charged. My breath catches, again, every time. Because this is something I don't know how to fight, something I don't know how to win, something that feels like it could break me in ways I won't recover from. His gaze drops to my mouth, my pulse spikes. The room tilts slightly, just enough, just dangerous enough. For 1 second, I think he's going to kiss me. And for one terrible, reckless moment, I want him to. Not because I trust him, not because I believe in this, because I'm so tired of being afraid, because I want something that feels like control, even if it's just for a second. His hand tightens slightly. Then he stops, pulls back. The distance returns, cold, sharp, final. My breath leaves me in a shaky exhale. And suddenly, I'm furious. At him, at myself, at everything. Why did you stop? I demand. The question comes out before I can think, before I can stop it. His eyes lock onto mine, dark, dangerous. Because that wouldn't be about control, he says. A beat. It would be about something else. Silence crashes down. Because we both know what he means. Because neither of us is ready for that. Not yet. Maybe not ever. He steps back, putting space between us, rebuilding the distance, reclaiming the control. Get some rest, he says. Like none of that just happened. Like the air didn't just shift in a way we can't take back. Like I didn't just no. I turn away. Because I don't trust myself to stand here any longer. Because I don't trust what I feel. Because I don't trust him. Not the way I should, not the way I need to. But something is changing. I feel it. Deep. Unavoidable. And I don't know how to stop it. As I reach the door, his voice stops me. Elara, I freeze, slowly turn back. His gaze holds mine, steady, unrelenting. There's someone here to see you. My stomach drops. Who? A beat. Then, her.
Chapter 9. The shot comes from above. Not the front gates. Not the perimeter. From inside the house. I hear it before anyone else reacts. The sharp crack of suppressed gunfire slicing through the hall as glass shatters somewhere deeper in the estate. Too close. Way too close. Elara, down. I don't wait to see if she listens. My hand closes around her waist, pulling her hard against me as I pivot, turning my body between hers in the direction of the sound. Another shot. Closer. A guard goes down at the end of the corridor, blood spreading fast beneath him. My jaw tightens. The traitor didn't just leak information. They let someone in. Move, I order. I don't release her. Don't give her the chance to hesitate. I push her forward, one hand at her back, the other already pulling my gun as we cut toward the side hall. Footsteps pound behind us. My men responding. Too slow. Too scattered. This was planned. Marco, she starts. Not now. My voice cuts sharp. Focused. I turn a corner just as a figure steps out of the shadows ahead. Gun raised. A split second. I fire first. The man drops. No hesitation. No second shot needed. Elara flinches hard behind me. I feel it. Register it. Don't slow. Stay behind me, I say. I am. Her voice is tight, but steady. Good. We reach the side stairwell. I shove the door open, ushering her inside. Up. Why up? She demands. We need to get out. They're blocking exits. She goes still, realizing, adjusting. Then she moves. Fast. No argument. No wasted time. We climb. 2 flights. 3. The sound of gunfire fades below us, replaced by shouts and chaos echoing through the house. I count shots in my head. Track positions. Angles. This isn't random. This is targeted. And there's only one target that matters. Her. We reach the upper landing. I pull her into a narrow corridor, pushing her back against the wall as I listen. Silence. Too quiet. My grip tightens slightly on her arm. Someone's here. I murmur. Her breath catches. I can feel that. I almost smile. Almost. Then, movement. A shadow shifts at the far end. I move instantly. 1 step forward, gun raised. The man appears. I fire. The body drops hard. The silence that follows is deafening. For a moment, nothing moves. Then, clear, a voice shouts from below. I exhale slowly, but I don't relax. Not yet, because something's wrong. Not fully. I turn back to her, and that's when I see it. Her hand pressed against her side. Blood. Fresh. Dark. My stomach drops. Where? I demand. It's nothing, she says immediately. Liar. I step closer, grab her wrist, pull her hand away. The blood spreads fast beneath my touch. My jaw tightens. Sit. I said it's nothing. Sit. She sits. Because she understands that tone, I drop to one knee in front of her, pulling the fabric aside carefully. The wound isn't deep, but it's bleeding. Too much. Too fast. She grazed me, Elara says quietly, when we turned the corner. My eyes snap to hers. She nods once. I saw her, briefly. That changes things. This wasn't just an attack. This was a message. Stay still, I say. I press my hand against the wound, firm, controlled. She inhales sharply. That hurts. Good. She lets out a breath that almost sounds like a laugh. You have a very specific idea of comfort. My hand doesn't move, but my thumb shifts slightly against her side. Not soothing. Not exactly. But there. She feels it. I see it in the way her breath stutters again, the way her body reacts even when she tries not to. You're not dying, I say. That's reassuring. It's a fact. Silence settles, heavy, charged. Because we're too close, because my hands are on her, because her blood is on me, because this isn't just strategy anymore. Why did you come back for me? She asks suddenly. The question hits, unexpected. I don't show it. You're my wife. That's not an answer. It is. Her eyes search mine, not accepting it, not believing it. Marco, don't. I cut her off, because I don't want to explain something I don't fully understand. My hand shifts again, slower now, more deliberate. My fingers slide along her side, adjusting pressure, checking the wound. Her breath catches, harder this time. I feel it, every reaction, every shift. The way her body tenses, then doesn't pull away. My gaze lifts to hers, and something changes. The air tightens, the world narrows. No gunfire, no guards, just this. Her, me, too close, too aware, too much. You should pull away, she whispers. Her voice isn't steady. My mouth curves slightly. You should push me. A beat. She doesn't. Neither do I. The silence stretches, thick, electric. Then, I lean in, slow, deliberate, giving her time to stop me. She doesn't. My lips brush hers, light, testing. A question. For a second, nothing. Then she responds. Soft, uncertain, but real. My hand slides from her side to her waist, pulling her closer. Not rough, not demanding, just enough to close the distance. The kiss deepens, not rushed, not frantic, controlled, but there's heat in it, something that's been building since the altar. Her fingers curl into my shirt, gripping, holding, not pushing me away. My other hand lifts, cups her face, thumb brushing along her cheek as the kiss shifts, deepens, becomes something heavier. Her breath breaks against my mouth, soft, shaky, alive, and for the first time, I let myself feel it. Not control, not power, not possession, something else. Something that makes my chest tighten and my grip on her sharpen slightly. She leans into me, just enough. And that's it. That's the moment everything shifts. Because she's not just reacting anymore. She's choosing. The realization hits hard, fast, dangerous. I pull back, not far, just enough to look at her. Her lips are parted, breathing uneven. Her eyes, not afraid, not fully. Something else. Something that mirrors what I'm trying not to name. I exhale slowly. My hand slides up, brushing her hair back from her face, gentler now, more careful. You're bleeding, I say quietly. She exhales. That's your takeaway? It's the one that matters. My hand returns to her side, pressing cloth firmly against the wound. She winces, but doesn't pull away, doesn't break contact. I keep my hand there, steady, grounding. My other hand moves to her back, flat, warm, holding her in place as her breathing begins to settle. Instinct, unspoken, necessary. You're okay, I murmur. The words come out lower than I expect. She exhales slowly, leans into the touch just slightly, and that hits harder than the kiss, because she's not fighting it, not running, she's staying with me. Elara, I say, but I don't finish, because I don't know what comes after that. Instead, I tighten the bandage, secure it. Then finally, I pull back. The distance returns, but it's not the same. Not anymore. Nothing is. Footsteps pound up the stairs. My men. Finally. Sir, one calls. Lower levels secured. Intruders are down or gone. I nod once, but my focus doesn't leave her. Not yet, because this shift, this moment, is more dangerous than anything else that just happened. More complicated, more real. I stand slowly, offer her my hand. She takes it, without hesitation, and that tells me everything. As we move toward the stairs, one of my men steps forward, voice tight. We identified the attacker. My gaze sharpens. Who? A beat. Then a woman. I go still. Because now, this isn't just a war, it's something else entirely. And it just got personal.
Chapter 10, I hear it before I see it. Voices. Low, controlled, dangerous, not shouting, not panic. Worse. Decision. I stop in the hallway, just outside Marco's study, my hand tightening instinctively against my side where the bandage still presses tight against the wound he wrapped himself. It doesn't hurt the way it did before, not physically, but something else does, something heavier, because I recognize that tone. I grew up around it. Men deciding the fate of something that isn't in the room, something they don't have to look in the eyes, something they don't have to humanize, something they can justify. My stomach tightens. I shouldn't listen. I know I shouldn't. But I stay. Because I need to know. Because I've spent my entire life not knowing what was decided about me until it was too late. Inside the room, she's too much of a liability. The voice is older, measured, cold. She's leverage, another replies. Not if it destroys us. It won't. You don't know that. A pause. Then Marco, his voice cuts through everything. Quiet, controlled, final. I do. Silence follows, heavy, respectful. But not agreeing, I move closer to the door, just enough to hear more clearly. She's Vescari, the first man says. That alone puts a target on this house. She's already here, Marco replies. That doesn't change. It does if we remove her. My breath catches. Sharp, painful, because there it is. Clean, simple, familiar. Remove her, not protect, not negotiate. Remove. Just like my father would have said it, just like Adrian would have justified it. My fingers curl into fists, because I should have expected this, because I should have known better than to believe anything else. Not happening, Marco says. The words land hard, fast, immediate. But they don't comfort me, not the way they should, because I've heard men say things like that before, right before they change their minds. You're thinking emotionally, the older man presses. No, Marco says. I'm thinking strategically. Keeping her risks everything, so does losing what she brought. Silence. Again. Because now we're back to it. The truth, the thing that actually matters, not me, the codes, the routes, the power. My chest tightens because I know what comes next. I know how this ends. She's already proven she'll run, the man continues. She'll do it again. No. Marco's voice is sharper this time, more dangerous. You can't guarantee that. I don't need to. Then you're gambling the entire house on a woman you don't even trust. A beat. Then I trust the outcome. The words hit differently. Not comforting, not warm, but solid, certain, unmoving. And for a second, just one, I want to believe them. I want to believe him. But I've been here before, believed before, trusted before, and it nearly destroyed me. Footsteps shift inside the room. Chairs scrape. The meeting is ending. I step back quickly, before the door opens. Before I'm caught listening to something I was never meant to hear. Before I have to pretend it didn't matter. It did. It always does. The door opens. I don't look at them. Not at first. I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to see the way they look at me now. Not as a guest. Not even as a threat. As a problem. One they haven't solved yet. I feel him before I see him. Marco. His presence fills the space like it always does. Too much. Too strong. Too steady. Elara. My name in his voice still does something I can't control. I turn. Slowly. Carefully. And meet his eyes. Were you going to tell me? I ask. No greeting. No pretense. Just truth. His gaze sharpens. What exactly do you think I didn't tell you? That I'm a liability, I say. The word feels wrong in my mouth. Heavy. Ugly. But accurate. That keeping me here is a risk. His jaw tightens slightly. You were listening. Yes. Silence stretches. Not uncomfortable. Not uncertain. Just real. And, he asks, I let out a slow breath. And nothing. The words sound empty even to me. Because they are. Because everything inside me is louder than that. You don't believe that, he says. No. Then say what you mean. I step closer. Before I can stop myself. Before I can talk myself out of it. Are you going to trade me? I ask. The question lands harder than anything else I've said to him. Because it's not sharp. Not defiant. It's honest. Raw. Unprotected. His eyes darken immediately. No. The answer is instant. Certain. Final. But I don't stop. Are you going to use me until I'm not worth the trouble anymore? No. Are you going to decide I'm too dangerous and... Elara. My name cuts through the words, stops them, stops me. I freeze. His hand lifts, then stops. Like he's deciding whether to touch me or not. Like he's aware of how much that changes things. Then he does. His fingers close around my wrist, firm, grounding, not pulling, not forcing, just there. You're not something I'm going to discard, he says. My breath stumbles. because I want to believe that. More than I should, more than I can afford to. That's what they all say, I whisper. His grip tightens slightly. Not enough to hurt. Enough to stop that thought. I'm not them. No, I say. You're worse. The words slip out before I can stop them, before I can soften them, before I can take them back. His eyes darken. Dangerous. Sharp. Explain, because you don't pretend it's anything else, I say. You don't dress it up. You don't lie about it, a beat. You just take. Silence falls, heavy, loaded. He steps closer, closing the space. Again, always closing the space. And what exactly do you think I've taken from you? He asks quietly. My pulse spikes, because I don't have an answer for that. Not one I'm ready to say out loud. Not one I fully understand. Everything, I say anyway. It's not true. Not yet. But it feels like it could be. His hand shifts, sliding from my wrist to my hand, fingers curling around mine, holding, not forcing, not claiming, but not letting go either. Wrong, he says. The word is soft, but it lands, hard. You walked into this, he continues. You chose this. I chose to survive, and you're still doing that. His thumb brushes once over my knuckles, slow, deliberate. The contact sends a sharp, unexpected heat through me. I hate it. I don't pull away. That doesn't mean I trust you, I say. I don't need you to. Then what do you need? He steps closer, close enough that I can feel his breath, the heat of him. The weight of everything we're not saying. You to stop running, he says. My heart stumbles. I'm not running. Yes, you are. I'm standing right here. Physically, he corrects. Not where it matters. The words hit deeper than they should, because they're too close to something I don't want to face, because they're too accurate. I don't get that luxury, I say. His gaze sharpens. You do here. No, I whisper. I don't. Silence stretches, tight, electric. Because we're both standing on the edge of something. Something neither of us fully understands. Something neither of us can control. His hand lifts again. This time, it doesn't stop. His fingers brush along my jaw. Slow, careful, testing. My breath catches, again, every time. You're wrong, he murmurs. My eyes close for a second. Just a second. Because it's easier than looking at him. Because it's easier than admitting what this feels like. What happens when this is over? I ask. The question slips out before I can stop it, before I can think it through. His hand stills. What do you mean? When the war comes, I say. When it's done. When the codes don't matter anymore. A beat. Where does that leave me? The silence that follows is heavier than anything else in the room. Because this is the question. The one that matters. The one neither of us has answered. His fingers tighten slightly against my jaw. Then loosen, careful, controlled. Here, he says. The word is simple, but it lands. Hard, because it's not temporary, because it's not conditional, because it's not a negotiation, it's a decision. My breath shakes just slightly, because I don't know what that means, because I don't know if I want to, because I don't know if I can survive it. A knock sounds at the door. Sharp. Intrusive. Breaking the moment. Marco's hand drops, the distance snaps back into place. Cold. Sudden. Come in. The door opens. One of his men steps inside. Tense. Alert. Sir. Marco doesn't look at him immediately. What? The man hesitates. Then, we found something in the old records. Marco's gaze sharpens. What kind of something? The man swallows. Your father's name. Silence crashes down. Heavy. Unavoidable. My heart drops. Because I know what that means, before he even says it, before it's confirmed, before it's real. Marco's entire body goes still, not visibly. Not to anyone else, but I feel it. The shift, the tension, the crack in control. What about it? He asks. His voice is quieter now. Dangerously quiet. The man hesitates again, then, he was connected to the Vescari roots. The words land like a bomb, and suddenly everything changes. Marco doesn't move, doesn't speak, doesn't breathe, because the war just got deeper. And for the first time, it isn't just hers, it's his too.
Chapter 11. The room smells like old power and fresh betrayal. I stand at the far end of the private meeting hall, hands braced lightly against the edge of the table, staring at the man across from me, the one who just confirmed what shouldn't exist, what shouldn't have ever existed. My father's name. On Vescari routes. On transactions that move people like cargo. My jaw tightens slowly, deliberately. You're certain, I say. The archivist nods once. It's not rumor. It's ledgered, signed. I exhale through my nose, slow, controlled, because anger right now would be weakness, and I don't do weakness. Leave us. The room empties immediately. The door shuts. Silence falls, heavy, pressing. And for the first time since this began, I feel it. Not doubt, not fear. Something darker. Something closer to disgust. Because this isn't just a war she brought to my door. This is something my own blood helped build. My hand tightens against the table. The wood creaks faintly under the pressure. Then the door opens again. I don't turn. I don't need to. I know it's her. Elara. Her name leaves my mouth before I think about it. I hear her step inside. Feel her presence behind me. Close, careful, watching. You knew, she says. Not accusing, not sharp, just aware. I straighten slowly. Turn. Face her. No, the word is clean, flat, true. But you believe it. Yes, silence stretches because this changes things. Because it ties her past to mine in a way neither of us chose. You're not surprised, she says. I don't get surprised. Her mouth curves faintly. Bitter. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. A beat. Then, why are you here? I ask. Her gaze doesn't waver. Because you were going to go alone. And that would be a mistake. My eyes narrow slightly. You think I need you for this? No, she steps closer, but you need what I know. There it is. Truth. Always truth with her. It's part of what makes her dangerous. I study her for a long second. Then, we leave in 10 minutes. Her breath catches, just slightly, but she nods. No hesitation. Good. The meeting location is neutral, or as neutral as anything gets. An abandoned port facility just outside the city. Old steel, rust, echoes of deals made long before either of us were born. I step out of the car first, scan the perimeter, count shadows, track movement. Then, my hand lifts. She steps out beside me, closer than she used to stand. Not touching, but close enough. I notice. We walk forward together, into the open. Adrian is already there, waiting, watching, prepared. You came, he says. His gaze flicks to her, then back to me. Both of you. I stop a few feet away, measured, controlled. You wanted a conversation. This isn't a conversation, he says. It's a correction. I feel the tension shift beside me. Elara, not now. My voice cuts it clean. Sharp. Focused. What kind of correction? I ask. Adrian steps forward. Slow. Deliberate. The kind where you give back what doesn't belong to you. My mouth curves slightly. Cold. You're repeating yourself. And you're still not listening. Silence stretches. Tight. Dangerous. Elara, he says, voice softer now. This doesn't have to end badly. She laughs once. Sharp. Empty. It already did. His expression tightens. You're making this harder than it needs to be. No, she says. A step forward. Matching him. You are. I watch the exchange carefully. Because this is where things break. Or hold. Give me the codes, Adrian says. Just like that. No pretense. No softness. Truth. Elara stills beside me. I don't have them. Don't lie to me. I'm not. His gaze cuts to me. You believe that? I don't answer immediately. Because the answer isn't simple. Because if she wanted you to have them, I say finally, you already would. Silence. Because that's the truth he didn't want. His jaw tightens. You're underestimating what this costs, he says. No. I reply, you are. A beat. Then I'm not giving her back. The words land. Hard. Final. Adrian exhales slowly, then something shifts. You don't get to decide that. I step forward, closing the distance. Yes, I say quietly. I do. The air thickens. Everything teeters. And then she moves, fast, sharp, unexpected. She steps between us. Both of us go still. Her hand lifts, presses against my chest, stopping me, holding me there. My entire body locks, not from force, from the shock of it. Elara, no. The word is firm, final. Stop. Her gaze shifts to Adrian, cold, clear. You want me? His eyes narrow. Yes. Then take me. Everything stops. My chest tightens instantly. Because that wasn't part of anything. Because that, I don't allow. My hand moves, grabs her arm, pulls her back, harder than before. Absolutely not. My voice drops, dangerous, uncontrolled. She turns to me, eyes blazing. If this ends the war, it doesn't. You don't know that. I do. My grip tightens. You don't get to decide this. Her breath stumbles. You don't get to decide everything. I decide this. Silence crashes down, heavy, because this isn't strategy anymore. This is something else. Adrian watches us, carefully. Interesting, he murmurs. My gaze snaps back to him. Don't. He smiles faintly. You care. I don't answer, because right now, I can't. Because my focus is on her, on the way she didn't pull away, didn't run, didn't break. My grip loosens slightly, not releasing, just shifting. My hand slides from her arm to her wrist, then into her hand. My fingers thread through hers, holding, not forcing, choosing. No, I say. Quieter now, stronger. You don't get to sacrifice yourself. Her breath catches. Marco, no. A beat. Then, I'm not trading you. Silence falls, because that That's the line. Adrian's expression hardens. Then this ends in blood. I don't blink. It already does. The moment snaps. The negotiation dies. Adrian steps back, slow, measured. This is your last chance. I don't respond, because the answer is already given. He turns, walks away, the line drawn, the war locked. Her hand is still in mine. I don't let go. Not yet. Not when everything just shifted. Her fingers tighten slightly, just slightly. I feel it. I look at her. You don't do that again, I say. Her eyes meet mine, steady. Then don't make me. A beat. My hand lifts, slides to the back of her neck, pulls her closer. Not rough, not soft, certain. You don't get to choose that anymore. Her breath catches. But you do? Yes. Silence stretches. Electric, because neither of us is backing down. My thumb brushes once against her skin. Slow, deliberate. A warning, a promise, a claim. As we walk back toward the car, her voice cuts through the silence. There's something you don't know. My gaze sharpens. What? A beat. Then, my father already finalized the contract. Everything goes still, because now, this isn't just war, it's ownership, and someone else already thinks she belongs to them.
Chapter 12. The moment we step out of the car, I know it's over. Not the war, not the blood, not the consequences, but the illusion. The fragile, dangerous illusion that I could stay here forever and not be claimed by something, someone. The estate is too quiet, not calm, not safe, prepared. Marco feels it too. I see it in the way his body shifts beside me, the way his eyes scan the perimeter before the guards even move. They're already here, I say. His gaze cuts to mine. Sharp. How do you know? I don't answer, because I don't know. Not logically, but I feel it. The same way I felt it the night I ran. The same way I felt it when Adrian stepped out of the car. The same way I feel it now, like something closing in. The doors open before we reach them. Not from the inside, from the outside. Men step through. Not Marco's, not mine. Theirs. My stomach drops. Marco moves instantly. His hand finds mine, not gentle, not soft, firm, grounding, pulling me just slightly behind him, a shield, a wall, a line. Stay, he says. I'm not going anywhere. The words leave me before I think about them, and for once, he doesn't argue. A figure steps forward, slower than the rest, more deliberate, more dangerous, older, colder, worse. My father. The world narrows, everything else disappears, the guards, the house, the air. There's only him. And me. Elara. My name sounds the same, exactly the same, like nothing has changed, like I didn't run, like I didn't bleed, like I didn't choose something else. You shouldn't have come, I say. He smiles faintly. You shouldn't have left. The words land harder than anything else he could have said, because they're not angry, not sharp, just certain, like my leaving was a mistake that's already been corrected. Marco steps forward, blocking my father's view of me. You're trespassing. My father's gaze shifts, lands on him, studies him, measures him. Then Marco Bellatoni, no title. But no respect, just recognition. You're in possession of something that belongs to me. Marco doesn't react, doesn't move, doesn't break. She's not an object. My father's smile widens slightly. Everything is an object, he says. Some are just more valuable than others. My stomach twists, because I've heard that before, because I've lived that, because I ran from that. Marco's hand tightens slightly around mine. Not enough to hurt, enough to remind. You don't get to define her value here, he says. I already have. A beat, and the contract is signed. The words hit like a gunshot. Final, unavoidable, real. My breath stumbles, because I knew this, because Adrian told me. But hearing it from him, hearing it confirmed, makes it something else entirely. You don't get to enforce it, Marco says. My father's gaze sharpens. Watch me. The tension snaps. The air thickens. Everything balances on the edge of something that can't be undone. And suddenly, I understand. This doesn't end with words. It never did. I step forward. Before Marco can stop me, before I can second-guess it, before I can lose the nerve. Elara, no. The word cuts him off. I don't look at him. I can't. Because if I do, I might not be able to do this. And this needs to happen. Enough, I say. My voice is steady, stronger than I feel, clearer than I should be. Both men go still, watching me, waiting. My heart pounds, too fast, too loud. But I don't stop. I'm not going back, I say. My father's expression doesn't change. You don't have a choice. I do. You don't. I do. The repetition steadies me, anchors me, reminds me why I ran in the first place. You sold me, I say. The words hang in the air, heavy, unavoidable. I secured our future. You secured yours. His gaze hardens. They're the same thing. No, I say quietly, they're not. Silence falls because this is the truth he doesn't want to hear. The truth he never allowed. I reach into my jacket, slowly, carefully. Marco tenses beside me. Don't, he says under his breath. But I don't. Stop. Because this is the only way, the only ending that works. My fingers close around the device, the one that started all of this. The one that made me worth something, the one that made me a target, a prize, a war. I pull it out, hold it up. My father's eyes lock onto it instantly. There it is, the thing he came for, the thing everyone came for, the thing that made me valuable. Give it to me, he says. Marco steps closer. Elara, I shake my head. Trust me. The words leave me before I can think about them, before I can question them, before I can stop them, because I don't say things like that. I don't ask for things like that. I don't trust. Not like this. Not with him. But something inside me, something that's been building since the altar, knows. He stills, just for a second, and that's all I need. I look back at my father, at the man who raised me, who shaped me, who tried to sell me. You don't get this, I say. His expression darkens. I already do. No, I smile. Slow, sharp, final. And then I press the button. The device flickers, then dies. The projection never appears. The data never loads. The code's gone, destroyed, irretrievable. The silence that follows is absolute, total, unforgiving. My father's face changes. For the first time in my life, I see it. Shock, real, unfiltered. You burned it, I say quietly. His voice rises, sharp, furious. Do you have any idea what you just did? Yes. Everything, yes. I destroyed everything, the roots, the power, the leverage, the thing that made me worth something, the thing that made me worth taking, the thing that made me worth selling. And just like that, I'm not. My chest tightens. Not fear, not regret. Something else, something that feels dangerously close to freedom. Marco steps forward, slowly, his gaze locked on me. Not the device, not my father, me. You destroyed it, he says. Yes, a beat. Then, I chose. The words land between us. Heavy, real, unavoidable. Something shifts in his expression. Not control, not calculation, something deeper, something sharper, something that feels like it might change everything. My father recovers quickly. Of course he does. Men like him always do. This changes nothing, he says. But it does. It changes everything. Because now there's nothing left to trade, nothing left to negotiate, nothing left to take. Marco steps fully in front of me, blocking him, shielding me, choosing. You're done here, he says. My father's gaze hardens. This isn't over. No, Marco agrees. A beat. Then it's just started. The tension snaps, gunfire erupts, chaos explodes. Marco moves instantly. His hand grabs mine, pulls me back, spins me behind him, shields me as bullets tear through the air. Men fall, shout, fight. The world dissolves into noise and violence and motion. But I don't look at them. I look at him, at the way he moves, the way he protects, the way he stands between me and everything that wants to take me back. And I realize this isn't just survival anymore. This is choice. His hand tightens around mine. Stay with me, he says. I am. And for the first time, I mean it. The gunfire fades. Slowly, painfully, the last of the men fall. The last of the threats retreat. The air settles. Heavy, still. Marco turns, immediately. His hands find me, my face, my shoulders, checking, searching. You hurt? I shake my head. I'm okay. He exhales, slow, controlled. Then his hand slides to the back of my neck, pulls me closer. Not gentle, not rough. Certain, final. You don't get to do that again, he says. I meet his eyes, steady, unflinching. Then don't give me a reason. A beat. Then he kisses me. Not hesitant, not testing, not controlled. It's different, deeper, rougher, more real. My breath catches. My hands move before I can stop them, gripping his shirt, pulling him closer as the world tilts around us. This isn't strategy. This isn't survival. This is something else. Something that burns, something that takes, something that gives back just as much. His hand slides along my back, pulling me fully against him, grounding, holding, claiming. My body responds instinctively, not fear, not resistance, something that feels dangerously like surrender, but not the kind I've always known, not the kind that takes, the kind that chooses. The kiss slows, softens, but doesn't break. His forehead rests against mine, his hand still at my neck, steady, warm, real. You chose me, he murmurs. I nod. Yes. A beat. Then, you chose me back. The words land, heavy, final, true. And for the first time, I believe it. They tried to sell my life, so I burned their empire to the ground. Epilogue 6 months later. The sea is quiet, not empty, not still, just controlled. Marco Bellatoni stands at the edge of the private dock, hands in his pockets, watching the black water shift under the soft pull of the tide. Ships move in the distance, some his, some not, but all of them watched, all of them accounted for, all of them his now, in one way or another. The Vescari routes didn't survive, not intact, not clean, but power like that doesn't disappear. It gets rewritten, redirected, claimed. He did what men like him always do. He took what was left and made it better, stronger, untouchable. But that's not what keeps him here. It's not the ships, it's not the empire, it's not the war he ended or the one still quietly burning in the distance. It's her. He hears her before he sees her. Soft footsteps behind him, unhurried, unafraid, not sneaking, not careful, just there. Elara doesn't stop at the door, doesn't wait for permission. She never has. She walks straight onto the dock like it belongs to her too. Because now, it does. You're brooding again, she says. Her voice is lighter than it used to be. Not soft, never soft, but freer, less weighted, less guarded. Marco doesn't turn immediately. I don't brood. You stare at the ocean like it owes you something. It does. That earns him a quiet laugh. The sound hits him harder than anything else. Still, every time. He finally turns, and there she is. No blood, no fear. No trembling hands, no stolen dress, just Elara. Standing in the sunlight like she was always meant to survive it. She's wearing black today. Fitted, sharp, deliberate. Not armor, not disguise. Choice. Everything about her is choice now. That's what changed. That's what he gave her, and what she took for herself. His gaze drags over her slowly, not hiding it, never hiding it. You're staring, she says. I always do. I've noticed. She steps closer, stops just in front of him. Close enough that the air shifts. Close enough that the world narrows. Just like it always does when it's the two of them. You should be inside, he says. You should be too. I have things to handle. So do I. A beat. Then she reaches for him. Not tentative, not asking. Her hand slides into his like it belongs there. Because it does. Marco's fingers tighten around hers instinctively. Always instinct, always immediate. You're not supposed to be here, he says. You're not supposed to tell me what to do. His mouth curves. There it is. The edge. The fire. The thing that made her survive everything they threw at her. The thing that made him keep her. You didn't burn everything, he says. She tilts her head slightly. I burned what mattered. The codes. The chains, she corrects. Silence settles between them. Not heavy. Not dangerous. Just real. Do you regret it? He asks. Her answer comes immediately. No, not a second of hesitation. Not a flicker of doubt. Because she means it. Because she always will. Good. His thumb brushes once across her knuckles. Slow. Deliberate. Neither do I, he says. Her gaze sharpens slightly. You don't regret losing that kind of power? He steps closer. Closes the distance. Power doesn't get lost, he says quietly. It changes hands. A beat. Then, I just made sure it stayed in the right ones. Her lips pressed together. Not in disagreement, in understanding. Because she knows exactly what he means. Because she knows what he's capable of. Because she chose it anyway. You didn't answer my question, she says. I did. No, she says softly, you didn't. Silence stretches. Then, do you regret choosing me? The words land differently. Not sharp, not defensive, honest, vulnerable in a way she doesn't usually allow. Marco doesn't hesitate. No, not quiet, not careful, certain, final. Her breath catches, just slightly, but he sees it, always sees it. Because that's what this is now. Not control, not survival, understanding. He lifts his hand, slides it along her jaw. The movement is slower, now. More deliberate, more careful. Not because she's fragile, because she isn't. Because he knows what she is. And respects it. You weren't a mistake, he says. Her eyes close briefly, just for a second, like deeper than she expected, than she wanted. Good, she whispers. Because she doesn't do weakness, because neither of them do. But this is close. His hand shifts, slides to the back of her neck. Familiar, grounding, pulling her closer. She doesn't resist. Doesn't hesitate. Doesn't pretend she doesn't want it. Her hands come up, rest against his chest, fingers curling slightly into his shirt like she's anchoring herself there. And for a second, neither of them moves. The world narrows again, just like it always does, just like it always will. Then he kisses her. Not the first time, not the last, but still different, because this isn't war, this isn't adrenaline, this isn't survival, this is choice. Her lips part against his immediately. No hesitation, no fear, just heat, just connection, just something real. His hand tightens slightly at her neck, not forcing, not claiming, holding. Her body leans into his, matching, choosing. The kiss deepens slowly, not rushed, not frantic, just building, layer by layer, touch by touch. Her breath softens, warms, changes. His other hand slides along her back, pulling her closer until there's no space left between them. She exhales against his mouth. Soft, real, alive, and he feels it. That shift again, that moment where everything else disappears, where it's just her, just them, just this. He pulls back slowly, forehead resting against hers, breathing uneven, controlled, barely. "You don't run anymore," he murmurs. She smiles, just slightly. "I don't need to." A beat. Then, "And neither do you." His hand slides from her neck to her cheek, thumb brushing lightly along her skin. "You never did." Silence settles again, but it's not empty. It's full, complete, because this is what they fought for. Not the empire, not the war, not the power, each other, not as leverage, not as survival, as choice. Behind them, the sound of engines grows louder. New ships, new deals, new problems. The world doesn't stop. It never does. Marco doesn't look back. He doesn't need to. Because whatever comes next, they'll face it the same way they faced everything else. Together. They tried to sell her like a rout. He turned her into a queen. And together, they built something no one could ever take. If you made it to the end of this story, you already know this wasn't just about survival. It was about choice. About a woman who refused to be sold and a man who refused to let her go. This is an original Bayless-d'Ambra audiobooks, where love is dangerous, power is everything, and every story leaves a mark. If you felt this story, subscribe, and stay with me, because the next one, it's even darker. Until next book, stay ruined.